and I was not planning on going live today, but I decided I want to go live. I am currently in my bed with my dog Jax. He hurt his back, and I had something I wanted to come on here and talk about, and if people jump on, then we can chat, but if not, then it is what it is. So, I filmed my videos yesterday for next week. I do talk about Jax hurting his back and what's been going on with that. But something that has come out of this experience for me is realizing that I have changed a lot in the past. When was this? 2019 to now. So, like, almost 5 years. Jax first hurt his back in 2019. He has a degenerative disc disease in his spine, so he has had multiple times in his life where he has not been able to walk. He was in pain on last Sunday, so almost a week ago, and the middle of this week couldn't walk at all. Pretty much. He had a little bit of feeling in his leg, but not a whole lot. And then things turned around, and now he is walking. But this experience has really just brought to the surface in my life just how much things have changed and shifted, and how much I have changed and shifted in the past few years. And since having that experience the first time with him when he lost his legs, had back surgery, and like all the things. So I think it was not the last live. The last live was a whole thing. But the last time I went live and actually talked to you guys, hi Mo. I will talk to you guys a little bit. I have something I'm wanted to talk about first, but hi Mo, you're welcome for doing this. I just wanted to jump on. I'm hanging out here in my bed with my dog. But all of this really made me realize how much I used to complain in my life. And the only reason that it really was shown to me how much I was complaining in my life is me looking back and like the difference between now and in the past, and my experience of Jax having his back go out in the past compared to now. So, like I was saying, one of the last lives I did, somebody was like, "We should do a challenge. Would you do a challenge?" And I was like, "What if we do an Isn't It Wonderful challenge?" And it hit me this morning. I'm like, "What if anybody who watches this who wants to go along for the ride, what if we do a stop complaining challenge? And let's not just do it for like a couple weeks or whatever. Like, let's do it for the rest of the year. Stop complaining for the rest of the year. Really build the habit of looking for the good in situations and not complaining about things. Being able to start looking at your 3D circumstances and see the good in them instead of complaining about them. Because complaining is a big part of the problem when you are manifesting and putting negative and unhelpful meanings to what is happening in front of your face. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If anybody wants to come along and do a stop complaining challenge, commit to not complaining for the rest of the year. Let me know if you guys want me to do a video about it, and I can do that. But that was just my idea. I thought I'd come hang out. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, I can hang out for a little bit, or until Jax starts being upset that I'm not paying attention to him. But I am paying attention to him because I'm petting him. Huh. You've had all of mommy's attention. All of mommy's attention. Do we confess when we complain? No, I just want you to start catching it. Like, oh shit, I am complaining about this right now. I am looking at it in a way that is not helpful to me. And I am going to do better. Start. So for me, what brought this up was, like I said, Jax's back went out, and I I didn't have the like panic that I had when it happened in 2019. In 2019, I was like losing my shit. Part of that was because when we found out, like, so what happened is I went to work, brought him to work. He was acting weird. It was on a Saturday. And this is when I was grooming dogs. And my dad ended up having to work on Saturday. So he came and picked up my dogs, brought them home. And when we got back, Jax was just not doing good. He was acting really weird. He could still walk. So it didn't occur to me that it was his back. I thought he had bloat, where your dog's stomach fills up with gas, flips over itself. It's emergency surgery. We took him to the emergency vet, and they pretty much prepped him for surgery because he had all the signs of bloat, did an x-ray, and we're like, it's his back, put him on the pills and see what happens, and if it gets worse, then he may need surgery. Well, he got worse. We ended up doing the surgery, and like through that whole experience, I was like freaking the fuck out. I was like, oh my god, he's like, he's not gonna walk, and like just freaking the fuck out. And this time I didn't have that. Like I did have about an hour where I was like losing it. It's just like things got overwhelming, but it was just like everything's good. He's going to be fine. Like everything's going to work out. He's going to walk. Everything's good. But we bitched competitively in the Marines are habit to undo. Yeah, I know. That was my go-to. I complained about everything constantly. And now my go-to now is that's interesting. We'll see what happens. So, yeah. You okay, bud? He's like, Mom's not paying full attention to me right now. You guys have anything you want to talk about? Because I don't really have anything else to talk about, so. But I am more than happy to come hang out for a little bit. I know, calm down, buddy. Calm down, buddy. Nothing? Nobody has anything that they want to talk about? They just want to, like, watch me stare at the camera? Nobody has questions? Nothing? I've said everything that I have to say, so no one's got topics or questions they want to talk about, then I will probably be jumping off of here in like a minute. Give you guys like a little bit to ask a question if you want to ask. And oh, there we go. Why does it bother me when others really don't match? When others' reality doesn't match mine? I don't know. Why does it bother you? Does it bother you that like you want everyone to want the same things that you want? Oh, I hear you. There's a lot of things that when you ask yourself, you're like, I don't know what, but I would ask myself why it bothers you. Like, why does this bother me? And from there, when you get those kind of things that bother you like that, I know other coaches are like, just focus on the new thing, focus on the new thing. But if you have something like that that comes up and you're like, man, this really bothers me and it keeps coming up, if you start kind of asking yourself why and start not like going digging like "Ugh," like but just allow yourself to answer that question. It's happening with loved ones misunderstanding my intent. Are they really misunderstanding your intent, or are you assuming that they're misunderstanding your intent? Also, I would start telling myself everyone understands me, everyone supports me. I know it's none of my business what others think of me. It's not. So, this comes down to where I think people get confused with everyone is you pushed out. You are, unless they are like actively doing something like to be like, yeah, I don't understand you, that's like whatever. But in your own head, you're sitting here feeling like you're being misunderstood. So that's the where I would start working on that. My fiance left because recently she wouldn't let go of some inaccurate assumptions. And then other people are like judging you for that experience. I'm guessing is what's going on. So Mo, what do you want? What exactly do you want? I know, buddy. My SP manifested the day the ex got the last of her stuff. I want to be believed. Then that's what you need to start telling yourself. People believe me, people trust me, people understand me. Because right now you are focusing on everyone else and what they're doing and what they're thinking. But what that is coming from is how you are feeling about the situation. It's it's kind of ignoring the 3D. It's interpreting the 3D in a different way. So instead of being like, people, what did you say? You're like, people misunderstand my intent. When you feel like that's what's happening, that's when you need to shift the story and tell yourself, no, they understood me. They understood me. I explained myself perfectly. They understand. Or you could even, I know this is like, doing things, but start asking people if they understand what you're telling them. Does that make sense, Mo? I just want to say I love the little rants that you do. Some of your videos, they really put me in check, and I've been very disciplined this past week. Oh, thank you. It does. You're welcome, Mo. Is there anything else that you need some clarity on that? I know that it's so easy to get wrapped up in like what is happening and what you feel is happening, and you have to remember that when you get those like knee jerk reactions to things, that it's coming from past stuff, and it may not even be what is happening. You are assuming that people don't understand what's happening or don't understand you or don't trust you when they fully might, but you're deciding that they don't. And so you're creating that experience for yourself. That's where I would start focusing on whatever feels better to you, but people understand me, people trust me, people listen to me, stuff like that. No, but thank you. Does it make sense? Can you talk about manifesting on a time crunch? Manifesting on a time crunch is like anything else, but if it stresses you out to be manifesting on a time crunch, then I wouldn't try manifesting on a time crunch. The key to getting things when you want them is to be in the wish fulfilled and be telling yourself that it's already done. So there's really no time crunch. I already have what I want. I always get things when I want them. Things happen so quickly and easily. I'll be honest, I don't do a lot of things, just need a little reminder, laugh out loud. I hear you. I don't do a lot of time crunch manifesting per se. I honestly now, I just manifest from my present moment. Like, what do I need to be thinking and telling myself in the present moment about what's happening? But it's taken a lot of practice to get to this point. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I can hang out for a little bit. As I said, I'm hanging out with my dog, and I can hang out until noon or until he gets restless, whichever one comes first. So about like 35 minutes or so. Or if no one else has anything they want to talk about, I've got nothing else to talk about, so. How Bubba? I'm trying so hard to not consume content. I already know what to do, but there's so many limiting beliefs in this community. I guess I need to believe in myself more. I think you know exactly what you need to be doing. If you know that you need to stop consuming content because it's making it harder for you, then I would ask myself why I'm not doing that. To me, that's self-sabotage. When you know that you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be doing something because it is hurting what you want to be doing, why are you doing that? And I would stop saying that there's so many limiting beliefs in this community. I know exactly what I need to do and that's the end. And you already said that. You're like, I know what I need to do, but you're putting off what you need to do. And that's where I would ask myself, why? My first, like, what I'm feeling from that is self sabotage, coming possibly from not believing that it's going to work in the first place, kind of thing. Does that make sense? Finding ways to prove to yourself it won't work. I am so right. I am always right. That is one of my affirmations. I'm always right. I'm such a genius. I know all the answers. And yes, that is how I talk to myself in my head. I also would, not so much anymore. When you really get the hang of this, you do find that, like, once things start really getting in your head, they're just there and they play on autopilot. And like, one of the affirmations that I'll pull it out sometimes if I need it, but is, I always know what to affirm. I always know what to affirm. And if I feel like I don't know what to affirm, that's when I tell myself, isn't it wonderful? It's literally just about picking the thoughts that you want to be true, telling the stories that you want to be true, being able to be like, okay, yes, I know this just happened, but this is how I'm choosing to view that situation, because I know whatever I tell myself, whatever's going on up here is going to be proven to me to be true, because my reality is a mirror of me. Isn't it wonderful is one of the best affirmations ever. I agree. Hi, Michael. Please talk about resistance still coming up when we're changing our thoughts. All right, resistance. To me, in my experience, resistance is just your old thoughts coming up, right? You start wanting to think something different, and your brain throws all the reasons that that's not true at you and why that couldn't happen and blah, 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 right? You have to remember that your whole life, have been basically trained, and you have trained yourself to look at what's happening around you and then allowing whatever thoughts come up to be the explanation of what's happening. So that when you start changing your thoughts, your brain's like, what the fuck is this? That's not true. That's not possible. You're not basing it off of something tangible, and since you're not used to doing things that way, your brain brings up all this crap around that, right? So to get through the resistance, that's when you affirm. That's when those thoughts come up and it's like, this wouldn't happen. That, nope, this is how it is. This is how things are. That's not true. Nope, this is how things are. This is how things are going to be. I get what I want, that kind of stuff. What I have found with things that are really hard for, like, I'm having a hard time shifting, that is where energy work has helped me so much. I've talked about before me starting and going to acupuncture, Chinese medicine. That was what I needed to help my body, like, release some shit. But as I've said before, that came from me affirming. When you're affirming and you are focused on having what you want, the answers, the solutions will find you. Whether it's going to, like, I needed to go to acupuncture, but it could be finding a specific YouTube video that has some kind of um, like energy work or relaxation technique or something like that, something to help you get more comfortable in your body while you're thinking the new thoughts. Was that helpful? Oh, hold on, bud. Hold on. I'll move the computer. Anybody else have anything they want to talk about today? No? Nothing you want to talk about? Hi, Chase. Do you think when we're coming from a place of needing our desire, it affects manifesting even though we're affirming and changing our thoughts? I feel like with that, you can need things and manifest them. You've been doing it your whole life. It's about choosing to view things in a way that is beneficial for you. So when you are in situations telling yourself things are good, things are going to work out. So in that, you can still need it, but as long as you're not focused on, I don't have this and I need this, that's where you're going to get like caught up. The whole point, the whole way that it works is assuming that you already have it. So if you already have it, then you don't need it because you already have it. So that's where when those thoughts of I need this, you have to be shifting them to I already have it, it's done. Nope, it's already done. It's done. It's done. It's done. Hello. I'm doing good. It's my birthday. Can I sing you a song? Not today. I'm sorry. Was that helpful, Michael? It really is just choosing to view things in a way that is beneficial for you. Being like, something I've noticed myself saying this week. This is just where my brain decided it should start going. I don't know if you caught the beginning of the live, but my dog hurt his back, and through all but like an hour of this past week, I was like, everything's working out. This is perfect. This is a blessing in disguise. Really viewing what's happening in my life right now because I know that I have this under control. I'm focusing on what I want, even at those moments where it kind of goes back and forth and I don't feel like I have it under control because you have to remember it's not every thought that's going to manifest. It's your dominant thoughts. So if you're dominantly thinking that things are good, that's where you have to keep your focus. If you are dominantly thinking that things are good, things are you have what you want, things are the way you want them to be, then you have to assume that what you are experiencing is the bridge of incidents. So that is what I have been finding myself focused on, which is completely like a new experience to me. I've never had anything quite like this where I'm like, my dog just hurt his back. Earlier this week, he could not walk. And then overnight, he just started walking, which is like, I tell the story in one of the videos I recorded for this week. But for me, I have noticed recently being like, okay, I know that I'm doing all the work. I'm doing everything right in my head. I'm focused on what I want. So, what is happening, regardless of how I feel about it or if I like it or not, this is the bridge of incidents, the things that have to happen to get me from where I am to where I want to go. Yay, that was helpful. You guys have any other questions? This is actually so helpful. I think that clicked for me. Yay! I'm gonna butcher your name. Is it Marceline? Marceline? I'm horrible with names. I love that that's helpful. That's why I enjoy getting on here and making videos and hanging out with you guys, cuz man, I just needed someone to help make it click, and I found a lot of people that made a lot of things click. It's just now that I understand more, there are things that I wish people would have explained in a different way that would have helped me a lot. And I'm like, if it would have helped me to hear it this way, there have to be other people that would help too. Marceline. Marceline. It's a pretty name. I love that. Marceline. You guys have anything else you want to talk about? Thank you so much. You are welcome, Marceline. I'm so glad I could help. Anybody else have things they want to talk about? Questions? Because if you don't, I think I'm going to hop off. It is not exactly comfortable sitting in this position, but it has been fun coming and hanging out with you guys. I'm not going to lie, I know you already spoke to me about this, but I still get boggled with this affirming one affirmation or just tons of affirmations for the same desire. Okay. I think that you're making this way harder than it actually is, Michael. It's not, you are convinced that there are like rules that you have to follow, and that if you're not doing it just right, it's not going to work. And like you're looking for all the rules and guidelines that you have to follow in order to get a good grade, is how I feel you're kind of viewing it. It's like, okay, I have to know all the things so that I do it right and I don't mess it up. But what you need to do is just focus and tell yourself that things are the way you want them to be, regardless of what's actually happening in the moment. Being like, okay, this is where I am, but things are going to work out the way that I want them to. So I know that one of the things that you are working on is money. So with money, regardless of anything, regardless of having like one affirmation, when you're thinking about money, I always have money. I have this much money. I make this much money. Whatever you're thinking about money being in a way that you don't want it to be, now it's the way that you want it to be. So, what would you be thinking? How would you be thinking? What would you be telling yourself if you had the money right now? The reason that robotic affirmations worked for me in the beginning was because I had the hardest time coming up with something to think in the moment, right? It was like, okay, money, all the thoughts about money. What am I thinking about money? Like trying to flip it in the moment and come up with a money affirmation for me was, I couldn't do it. So when I found robotic affirmations, and it's like, okay, have a couple ready to go. It's like, okay, so now when I think about money, I can just go, here's my new thought about money, right? That's all the affirmations are, is your new thought. So by having one or a few, whatever feels better, it's like, so when you start thinking about how money isn't the way you want it to be, here's what is now true about money. Or if you can be like, okay, I'm thinking about money, I don't want that about money, this is what's now true about money. You can do either one. It's not about like, okay, I made my affirmations, and if when I'm thinking about money, if I'm not thinking exactly my affirmations, it's not going to work. Does that help you on that one? Let's see. I get likes from my SP I didn't get before, and he deleted a text I didn't since. All of a sudden, I can't see on my. Let's see if I can read it over here. I got likes from my SP I didn't get before, and he deleted a text. Yay, Michael! Since then, you're very welcome. Okay, my love, here. I'm going to pronounce your name wrong. I'm positive. Chintina? So first off, the problem is you've never succeeded with SPs before. If that's your belief and that's your go-to, like this never works, then it's not going to work this time. So right there, that's where you need to put the focus. This works. This always works. I've always been good at manifesting SPs. My SP is the easiest thing I ever manifested. Because as long as you are telling yourself that this doesn't work with SPs, it's not going to work because it's always working. And what you dominantly tell yourself, what you're dominantly focused on, is how it's not working. The rest of this shit is circumstances, which don't matter. You are the one who's sitting here focusing on, well, this happened and that happened, and what if this happened? And you're worrying about stuff. I'm really getting that you're worried about the disappointment that you already know that you are going to experience. because it never works with SPs. So that's where you have to shift the focus. If it helps you to revise and be like, none of that ever happened, I don't know what you're talking about. They've been texting me this whole time, or we've been together this whole time, if that helps. But the bigger thing is SPs are the easiest thing for me to manifest. I know exactly what I'm doing. This works every fucking time. How do you manifest an SP if you've never been in a relationship before? The same way you manifest anything else. You tell yourself you already have it. Oh, you are so welcome. I love my relationship. I love my person. We're so happy together. The fact that you've never been in a relationship is a circumstance. Now, if it comes up a lot and you're like, it really, I feel like it would be a problem that I've never been in a relationship, you could revise it and just be like, I've always been capable of being in amazing relationships. You can also just tell you that your person, the thing they love the most about me is the fact that I've never been in a relationship. The fact that I've never been in a relationship doesn't matter. As long as you continue to tell yourself that it's a problem that you've never been in a relationship, or somebody wouldn't want to be with you because you've never been in a relationship, or any of that kind of shit. Like, well, it's never happened before, so why would it happen now? That shit has to go. That's the shit that has to go. Because that's what you're continuously focusing on, so that's what's manifesting. But it's just like anything else, being like, I love my relationship, I love my person, everything's perfect, I have exactly what I want. Also, what about dreams? Your subconscious. I had a dream he replaced me with someone. I had dreams of my fears with him. Dreams mean whatever you think they mean. If you want to give dreams importance, then everything in your life, everything you experience is meaningless. You put meaning to it. So does it mean anything that you dreamt about this person? Is it important that you dreamt about this person and had something that you didn't like? Yes or no? If you want to, you could go through, write down your dream and look at what things in your dream symbolize to see if there's some kind of clarity you can get from that. But that's only if you think that dreams mean something. Oh, okay, thank you. I think I'm doing well when I'm staying with my new story. Yes, exactly. Stay with the new story. You have the relationship. Everything's perfect. The past doesn't matter. And if you need to revise the past or whatever, be like, no, this has always been, like, I've always been good at relationships. Like, this isn't an issue. Could I say hi, Allison? Because I'm on my dad's phone. Allison? Hello. I know, buddy. Mommy can't stay on here much longer, huh? Yeah, I can't stay on here too much longer, guys. So if you got any more questions. Yeah, everybody gets so caught up in the circumstances. This is happening, that happened, this happened in the past. Things have always been this way. And when you realize none of that matters when you can start choosing to think. You can think whatever you want about anything. Just because that's been true in the past doesn't mean it has to be true in the future. And the practice comes from realizing that you are focused on old shit or shit you don't want to be true, whatever that is, and being like, yeah, I'm going to reject that, and I'm going to focus on telling myself what I want regardless of anything else. I'm going to tell myself that new story. I'm going to have those thoughts. I'm going to affirm however you look at it, whatever's easiest for you. Things are the way I want them to be. The end. All right, guys. Last call for questions. And I'll be jumping off. Hi, Nicole. All right, guys. Last call for questions. Last final call. If there's anything you want to talk about. If not, I am going to get out of here and hang out with my puppy dog. I just want to see where everyone is from really quick. I'm in Texas. Just a quick one. What's your favorite method of manifesting you stick to? I'm very new to the channel and don't know if you talked about that. I go to basics. It's your thoughts that create your experience. So oh my goodness, from the Czech Republic. What time is it there, Nicole? So for me, and this has come from years of being and manifesting and trying things and not understanding things and finally understanding things and practicing things. At the moment, what I do is I just flip my thoughts. When I notice, like, I have some kind of affirmations, but I'm at the point now where I literally just catch myself thinking something and go, yeah, I don't want to think that. This is what I want to think. Or, yeah, I don't want to think that. What do I want to think instead? And if at the very, like, I can't figure out what I want to think instead, I go to Isn't It Wonderful? Now, when I first started doing this, I couldn't do that. I literally couldn't do that. The thing that helped me when I really, really first started was telling myself, I was using delete. I was like, delete. I don't like that thought. Delete. The problem was, is I had a coach at that point. It is 7 p.m. there. It's almost noon where I'm at. So, oh my goodness. Anyway, so I had a coach that was like, well, if you have a thought you don't like, just stop it. But there was never any changing it to anything else. And I did that for over 3 years. And it was at that point where I found robotic affirmations. And that for me was so helpful because like I said, in the moment, I was very anxious and very, like, all the things. And I couldn't come up with an affirmation in the moment. So being able to write a few down and be like, okay, money. This is what you're going to think when you think about money. And part of it was having like a list of some affirmations that I got used to repeating every day over and over and over again to memorize them, honestly. Like that's the first step to being able to use these affirmations in the moment, is having them memorized. When I think about money, this is what I'm going to think. When I think about SP, this is what I'm going to think. And also remembering that it's not the affirmation that is what manifests, it's what you are dominantly telling yourself. And the affirmations, or robotic affirmations in particular, are there to help keep you thinking about things the way you want them to be versus how they've been in the past, and the way things are in the past, or the way things currently are, being like things aren't how I want them to be. I've also gotten better at getting away from it so much being an affirmation as it is just my natural flow of thoughts, but thinking of things the way I want them to be. But like I said, I didn't start there. I couldn't have been there when I first started. I That stressed me out, and that is where I started with robotic affirmations. All right, guys. Any last questions? I got to get off of here and give Jack some medicine. Having the affirmations memorized, I love that. And dominantly, what you tell yourself got you. Super helpful tips. Simply put, I'm practicing now for SP contact. Nice, Nicole. So just when you think about your SP, don't be like, oh my God, they're not texting me and we don't talk. No, we talk all the time. We talk all the time. We talk all the time. They text me all the time. We talk all the time. We spend all our time together. Like, they absolutely love me. We spend all our time together. They talk to me all the time. They won't leave me alone. But however you would naturally think, if they were texting you constantly, if you were constantly talking to them, what kind of thoughts would you be thinking? Those are your affirmations, and those are the thoughts you need to go to whenever you are thinking about this person. You can't be dwelling on, oh, they don't text me. No, we talk all the time. We talk all the time. And it's not about having like so many affirmations. You don't want to have like a ton of affirmations, but just I I honestly couldn't remember even just like a few, because I was trying to do like a lot of things at once. And when it's like you do have to memorize the new story because your brain isn't used to it, and you don't have anything happening in your reality, in your 3D, where you're naturally creating that story, right? You're naturally creating the story that you're not in contact, because that's what you're experiencing. So going within and being like, no, we talk all the time, especially if you're new to this, it feels really weird because you're like, but we don't. But learning to be in your imagination and having that experience in your imagination is what is going to manifest it into your 3D world. And it takes practice. It takes practice, and the more you do it and the more you see things manifest, you just start naturally doing it, because you're like, at first it's like, well, it worked for this, so why wouldn't it work again? This worked last time, and this is how I did it, and you grow it from there. I keep saying this is a journey of self-discovery. You learn a lot about yourself. And the more willing you are to learn about yourself, the faster you're going to figure out what works for you. Because at the end of the day, if it does, what you got to do what works for you. Thank you so very much. I feel honored you make these lives, willing to answer questions. You are so knowledgeable and clear, a gem in an ocean of other mostly self-proclaimed coaches. Oh, thank you, Nicole. I love that. I enjoy coming on here with you guys and hanging out, and I love talking about this stuff, and I'm just so grateful after all the all the things that I can share my experience and help other people to understand this shit. Because once you start to understand it, it is very simple. And I think that that's part of why it's hard for people to grasp that it can be so simple, but it's also there has been so many people trying to explain it in so many ways that's just unnecessary, coming from them not fully understanding that it's just the way you view things. So they're like, "Oh, I figured out the solution," and then they're teaching everybody their essentially rules for how it works, being like, "This is how it works," not understanding that it works that way because you believe that's how it works. I like things to be simple. And the other thing of it is, I just needed somebody to speak to me in English. Like, I speak English. This is how I speak. Like, talk to me in a way that I can understand, where I don't have to learn another language to understand what you're talking about. All right, I got time for one more question if somebody's got something. And if not, I'm going to hop off of here, give Jack some medicine, and not sit in this position because it is not comfortable sitting in my bed in this position, but you know. No one else got any questions? Is that it for today? All right, you guys. Then I am going to hop off here if no one else has anything. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing week. Love and light.